The Atkinson Foundation is a 72-year-old startup. This year, we introduced ourselves to a new generation of Ontarians with this 6-word story. It reminds us that Joseph Atkinson was an employee of the Toronto Star before he was its owner. He was in the newspaper business to change the headlines, not to turn the masthead into an empire. The paper was Atkinson's tool to tell stories about unjust circumstances and to propose solutions that would move people and governments to take action. The social reform movement of Atkinson's era gave us unemployment insurance and pensions, and he gave us the proceeds from the foundation so we could take up where he left off. 7 decades later, we're still a startup, still an ally of grassroots movements, still pursuing ambitious ideas, still taking risks, and still learning as fast as we can. What has changed are the tools and tactics some activists are using to organize their communities. There's a growing digital divide, and this concerns us. That's why we asked former CBC journalist Jennifer Hollett to become an Atkinson associate and to write a primer on civic technology for us. Civic tech is a space where civic engagement meets technology. It's about much more than social media and online fundraising. It's about more transparent and accountable governments, as well as informed and active citizens. Jen is a cross between a community organizer and a tech geek, a hybrid who creates strategies to move people up the ladder of civic engagement, both online and off. She helped us convene a hackathon on this. She also interviewed leading activists to see how technology could improve their approaches to strategy, storytelling, and data. At the same time, we spotted an opportunity. Kate Collins from the STAR's Digital Media Lab and open government guru Dave Eves were impatient with the untapped potential of an app used by the city to track what needs repairs. It's called See, Click, Fix. They wanted to see if a tool that's used mostly to report on potholes and graffiti could be used to drive change on bigger social issues like housing. This conversation overlapped with one I was having with Judy Duncan and John Anderson at Acorn about their Healthy Homes campaign. Acorn is a national organization of more than 59,000 low and moderate income families. They organize door-to-door canvases and meetings to plan citywide campaigns. Organizers rely on clipboards, not iPads, smartphones, or apps. Acorn's first experience with civic tech had left them wary of any project that put others' interests ahead of community needs. So it had to be clear this experiment would be driven by the serious issues of substandard housing and the city's inadequate bylaws and enforcement system, not by a fascination with technology or innovative apps. 2 things moved the project from design to implementation quickly. 1, we were interested in hacking an existing app, not creating a new one. And 2, Kate and Dave made it a priority to get to know the community. They had weekly calls with Acorn organizers to answer technical questions and to improve the prototype. Within weeks, organizers were back in the field collecting data on bylaw infractions and public health issues. This time, they were armed with a modified version of See, Click, Fix on iPads. So far, they've gathered information on 1,700 private rental apartments, evidence to support Acorn's municipal election proposals. As you might imagine, there have been multiple iteration glitches and obstacles, as well as plenty of problems for the partners to solve over the past 8 months. And there will be many more. Last week, for example, we were preoccupied with data cleaning in the preparation for a community housing forum on Friday night. We can't help but learn more about how to build effective relationships across digital and other divides through a project like this. We agreed early on that the partners would own the data together and decide how to use it. So now we're figuring out how to tell a persuasive story as part of a bigger, longer-term housing strategy. Now, I can't show you a plan, a logic model, or a formal set of outcomes. I can't even show you a check stub because we haven't given anybody a grant so far. But what I can show you is how a small, targeted civic tech project can connect uncommon allies to help hold governments accountable to their least influential constituents. I can also show you how one organization is crossing the digital divide, streamlining its data collection and storytelling processes, and translating experiences to other issues and challenges. To help us understand the outcomes we can expect, we're adapting an American framework for building, scaling, and funding social movements. We're looking for transactions, transformations, and translations. Information exchange around a table or at the door is a transaction. A shift from broadcast to digital thinking is transformation. Adapting an app for more complex problems or projects is a translation. Now, there will be a bigger story to tell you about this project this time next year. But what I do know now is that the field of civic tech is producing valuable tools and alliances across sectors. Make no mistake, we still need buttons and placards and newspapers to move people and governments to take action. But this generation of social reformers also needs better tools to tell their stories and to make their voices heard. They're counting on us, all of us in this room, to make this happen.